It had been quite a while since I'd seen any of the Scary Movie films, despite the fact that I actually used to watch them quite frequently I was going to say as a child, certainly as a teenager. And I decided to rewatch them, and I've just rewatched Scary Movie 2. And in some ways, it's better than I remembered in terms of the narrative. In other ways, it's definitely not as funny as I remember. I don't know if I ever laughed out loud, but certainly I found it entertaining. Now, it's definitely very average. This one was released in 2001, the year after the first one, and it's directed by Keenen Ivory Wayans, of course written by Marlon and Shawn Wayans as well. And I think if you like the first one, then you will definitely like the second one, as I feel like it's slightly more creative. To me, the first one felt very much like a copy of Scream, whereas this one parodies a variety of films, and you can kind of tell, for me, it doesn't really feel like one specific film, maybe perhaps House on Haunted Hill, but there are a lot more things in there. And basically these group of college students, some of whom you'll recognise from the first films, including Anna Faris, Regina Hall, Shawn Wayans and Marlon Wayans as well as a great cast. We have Tim Curry in this, which I'll talk about in a moment. They all go to stay in this house, and all of these weird things start to happen. And I have to say, the opening scene, which doesn't actually involve any of these students, it involves the house years ago, theoretically. And in this first scene, we have a white person saying the N-word. Singing the N-word, I should say. Is it more acceptable if it's being sung? I don't know, I wouldn't have thought so. But straight away, you know that this is not going to be a light-hearted film. There are probably going to be multiple things in this that will offend you if you're easily offended. At no point was I offended by anything in this. But, you know, if you take things too seriously, especially with the Scary Movie films, I think they definitely will not be for you. The narrative is pretty interesting. Having them going up to this house, I like that change of location. I think, you know, as the house kind of takes on a life of its own, I think that's really good. It gives it a little bit more substance than I was perhaps expecting, and certainly more than I had remembered. In terms of the characters, obviously we have returning characters, even though that shouldn't really be possible after what happened in the first film, and they certainly brought the best ones back. I always think Anna Faris's performances in these are great, and in fact all of them are, you know, really well performed. They're working with this very juvenile script, very talented actors, you know, making it work really well, and it's pleasing to watch in that respect because their performances are brilliant. Obviously, I didn't expect Tim Curry in this. I had no recollection of Tim Curry being in a Scary Movie film, so I'm glad I've rewatched it. He played the professor. You know, I enjoyed him in this as well. So in terms of the cast and the performances, it's really good. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. What I didn't really care for too much was the humour, or for me, lack thereof. And I will say, if this is your kind of humour, I think you'll enjoy it. It's juvenile, it's immature, it's, you know, sex and farts and poop. That's the kind of humour we're going with, which, now I was inclined to say for the target audience, that would work. But this is certificate 18. So I think the kind of humour is not really applicable to the target audience, or maybe just that little target audience of being 18, 19, then hopefully you should grow up and maybe not find them as funny. But I don't know, it's awkward in that sense because it's just all over the place in terms of the humour. It does parody a lot of different things, some of which I recognised, most of which I recognised. But there were a few that I didn't. I'll give you a rundown of things that it parodies actually. It's a big list, so bear with me. But this may hopefully pique your interest if you want to Watch it if you're a fan of any of these films. You may want to see what they do with the source material. We have House on Haunted Hill, as I said, Dirty Harry, The Exorcist. The Exorcist plays a pretty prominent part, and I kind of enjoyed that parody aspect. Legend of Hell House, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Rocky Up in Smoke, Amityville Horror, The Changeling, Poltergeist, which, the Poltergeist aspect was pretty fun. Clue, Little Shop of Horrors, Night of the Demons, It. We do have a clown character in this, and the scene with the clown under the bed is very well directed, very well edited, but slightly bizarre. The whole film's bizarre. Dumb and Dumber, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, there's a cat in it. That's basically it. Twister, Titanic, Amistad, The Haunting, Charlie's Angels, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Dude, Where's My Car, Final Destination, Hollow Man, Mission Impossible 2, What Lies Beneath, Hannibal, and Save the Last Dance. Some of those are obviously parodied more obviously and have a more prominent role, like House on Haunted Hill, The Exorcist, and I guess Sabrina because of the black cat, and It because of the clown. Others are a little bit more subtle. But in terms of, selecting them, I think it works quite well. The actual things they parodied all kind of tie in together nicely, and I think it's a pretty good job. I just don't think it's very funny for me. I would love to know what you think of this, whether you've seen it for the first time now, or whether you watched it when you were younger, and what you think of it upon reflection. I will discuss my thoughts on the third, fourth, and fifth one. I actually don't know if I've seen the fifth one. I vaguely feel like I have, but I can't remember. So, we'll see in due course what it's like to watch one for the first time, possibly. Let me know what you think of it. I think it's alright. It's not the best film ever. It's easy to watch, a little bit cringy though. Creative, not perfect, but watchable.